Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. This is Cesar, and today I have a very special project for you. We're going to build a Latin American inspired neighborhood in The Sims 2. So first of all, you're going to say, Cesar, that's not The Sims 2, and you're right. This is SimCity 4, which is where we can make basically from scratch a neighborhood for The Sims 2. We can make the terrain, we can work on the roads, everything as we want it. So it's very exciting. And in this video, we're going to see how the map looks in The Sims 2. So bear with me, we're going to see that in a few minutes. Now, let me tell you that everything you're going to see here, it's going to be flipped in The Sims 2. It's going to be mirrored. All the roads are going to be mirrored and everything else, because that's just how the Sims 2 deals with the terrain. I don't know why. It's some technical stuff. Now, let me share with you why I'm very excited about this. And it's basically because, as far as I know, this is the first, or one of the first at least, full on Latin American inspired neighborhoods for The Sims 2. And I'm very excited because we're going to build it together. I'm going to share with you all the progress and you can participate. So make sure to subscribe if you want to see the rest of the builds and everything we're going to do with the neighborhood, and you can participate as well and share with me some inspiration. That's going to be great. And if you like the idea, you can also like the video and let me know in the comments what you think about this. Now, let's talk about the inspiration for this neighborhood. First of all, you are going to see that I'm building a grid here. And a lot of cities in Latin America started with a grid, a square grid, which is how the Spanish and Portuguese people planned cities back in colonial times. A lot of cities now in Latin America call these districts Centro Histórico or Historic Downtown. So it's going to be very fun building here some colonial themed buildings and, having a cathedral, a plaza, and parks. That's going to be fun to build as well. Then my second inspiration is a modern district. So in cities such as Sao Paulo in Mexico City, you can find these huge avenues with skyscrapers, apartments, restaurants, bars, districts that have a lot of nightlife. And that's something that we can do in The Sims 2 as well. So it's going to be very fun to replicate that here in the game. Another inspiration are those rich neighborhoods you can find here in the cities as well. For example, in my city, the rich neighborhood is in the hills, and that's what I'm going to replicate here. Think about those huge houses you see in telenovelas or soap operas from Latin America, those big haciendas. And we're also going to have a district that is more rural themed, for farmhouses and smaller detached houses as well. That's going to be fun to build too. I'm going to show you how the map looks in the game in a few minutes, but before I do that, I want to share with you some details about the neighborhood. So first of all, I will try to use minimal custom content in this neighborhood because I want to share it with you guys. I want you to play with it if you want to, and I will use at most 5 or 6 things, and I will leave everything you need to download to play it once I finish the neighborhood. So don't worry about it, you will not need to download a lot of things. Now let's talk about the name too, because that's something very exciting as well. The name for this neighborhood is going to be Las Orquídeas, which means the orchids. Not only are orchids one of my favorite flowers, they are also native to my country and native to various countries in Latin America. They are beautiful as well, and Orquídeas is pronounced the same in Portuguese and in Spanish. Well, maybe not pronounced the same, but it's written the same. I know that in Portuguese it will be as Orquídeas, and it's something that it can be easily changed as well. So yeah, that's why I chose the name. But I'm also open to suggestions, or if I see another name that I think might be better suited for the neighborhood, I will change it. But for now is Las Orquídeas. Let me know what you think about that name, guys. Now we're working on the finishing touches in the map, and I want to share with you guys that I planned all of this before jumping into SimCity 4, and I use a tool by Great Cheesecake Persona, which is an amazing creator for The Sims 2. I use that tool to plan every road, to plan the layout of the city, the river, and the mountain. And although it's not exactly a copy of what I did there, because due to the limitations of SimCity 4, some things are more difficult to do, such as a thin river. It helped me a lot. It was amazing to have that tool to plan the city and to plan everything. And that was a big part of making this, and it was a lot of fun as well. So if you want to create your own neighborhood, I strongly recommend you to use that application. I also want to thank you guys because right now we are 33 subscribers at the time of making this video, and it's amazing that so many people have watched and subscribed to the channel. That's just very exciting for me. Now, without further ado, let's jump into The Sims 2 to see the neighborhood finally. And we are in The Sims 2 now, as you can see, and as I told you before, the map is flipped. But that's how I imagine it when I created it, as I shared with you before. So I'm going to show you all the 4 districts that I have think about, and we're going to start with the historic downtown first. So this is the historic downtown part, which is where we can find the main grid, the square grid. We're going to have a plaza here, a cathedral, some colonial theme buildings. I don't know, maybe we're going to have a theater, we're going to have the mayor's office, some parks, some plazas, a cemetery. I'm very excited about this district. It's going to be so much fun. Then if we go to the south, we're going to find a sub neighborhood. It's going to be the industrial part of the city. And it's also going to be the poor part of the city, where we are going to find social housing and very small apartments, very small houses for our poor Sims. I like to play with Sims that struggle a little bit with simoleons, so and that's going to be the low income part of the city, let's say. Now let's go to the next district, which is going to be the modern district. And the first thing you're going to see is this big avenue, which is inspired by the Avenida Paulista in Sao Paulo and the Avenida de la Reforma in Mexico City. I actually was in the Avenida Paulista last year. I traveled to Brazil and it was amazing. So you can imagine this is going to be the avenue where you're going to see those big skyscrapers, those apartments, and we're going to see some bars and restaurants. This district is also going to have a sub neighborhood where we're going to find some middle class houses, some wall to wall houses like the ones I built before in the channel. So that's going to be very fun to build as well, because we're going to use some tools to make the houses be next to each other. Oh, and I will say that this modern district is going to be very visually appealing because it's basically the skyline of the city. Now let's jump into the upper middle class and high class neighborhoods of the city, which are going to be near these hills or on these hills. We're going to find the first sub neighborhood where we're going to find some big houses for our Sims who are maybe not rich but have a lot of simoleons. And on the hills, we're going to see some big mansions. I don't know if we're going to have some Sims living there on the start, but definitely we're going to have some big mansions or big houses there horror sims that become rich in the future. And lastly, we're going to find the rural district where we're going to find some farms and some haciendas, some smaller houses as well, detached houses near this beautiful lake. And I think I'm going to modify a little bit of the terrain here in SimCity 4 and export the map again. Because, by the way, this is not the final map we're going to use, because to make the final map, I'm going to remove the townies, I'm going to use some mods, so we are able to customize everything. I've added some decoration here that's not going to be final. This is just a placeholder for you to see how the city is going to look. But I figured it was going to be fun to show you guys my ideas. And there you have it, guys. Let me know what you think about this neighborhood. Let me know in general your comments. I'm very excited, if you can tell, about this project, and I would love to hear you. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Like the video if you like this project. And as I told you, we're going to build more things for this neighborhood in future videos. Thank you very much for watching, guys. Have a nice day. Bye bye.